In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, peace be upon you. And this video is about the suggestion that Muslims don't integrate in British society. Now, when my parents came to the UK, they moved into a particular area in which there were majority white people, poor white people. It was an inner city area. And what happened was we were targeted with a lot of racism because there were very few families in the area at that time, very few Muslim or Asian families. White children used to play knock door run. When I started school, I would be attacked. My brothers and sisters would be attacked regularly. It was really scary stepping outside because we were just constantly being attacked every time we left the house. My mum was targeted sometimes. I know my dad, he was a taxi driver, and once we were walking home and we saw drops of blood leading from the car to the house, and basically he had been attacked, and I think he had to go to the hospital and have stitches. But gradually what started happening is and what tends to happen is white non-Muslims do not want to live amongst Muslims, and they start leaving the area. So as they start leaving the area, and other white non-Muslims don't want to move into the area, what tends to happen is that Muslims will move into the area. And so gradually, as I was growing up, there were more and more Asians in the area. So by the time my daughters were at primary school, there were 90% Muslim Pakistanis in the school, and this was a complete transformation from when I was little. The other thing I wanted to say about that is now actually that area has transformed again, because since UK became part of Europe, we've had a lot of Eastern Europeans come into the inner city areas. And so now if I go back to the area that I used to live in as a child, it is full of Eastern Europeans. So that what happened was the Muslims became wealthier, moved to the outer areas, and the Eastern Europeans have replaced the Muslim community. But here I've got a picture from a video that Tommy Robinson created, or was part of, and the title of the video was "Britain Muslims Do Not Integrate in Society." But as I said, from my experience, a white flight took place, and I see this taking place where my sister has moved to. She's quite westernized in all her ways, and she didn't want to live in an Asian area. She didn't relate to even though she believes the Quran, she didn't really relate to the hijabis, to the niqabis. She moved out of the area, and she was quite educated and well off, so she moved into an area again where there were non-Muslim majority, but they probably didn't want to be living next door to her, because many non-Muslim whites in that area have now left the area, and the area has increased in the Muslim population. There are still white people living in her area, but nevertheless the Asian population has increased there. So I personally don't believe it's a matter of integration. If those non-Muslim white people had remained in that inner city area, then they would have remained the majority. The Muslims would have had to find somewhere else to live, but they left and so were replaced. But another thing I found amusing about this video that Tommy Robinson had created was the fact that there's a niqabi, a woman in black, head to toe, Muslim woman, and another lady walks past her wearing a really low cut top. So it's quite nice to see that the niqabi is being allowed to wear what she wants to wear, and this woman with the low cut top is being allowed to dress how she wants to dress. And to me, that's a perfect society where other people don't dictate what a woman wears. I just want men to leave us women alone. Basically, we should decide what we want to wear. Anyway, living amongst white people, I do get asked why I don't eat pig. Now, there are many, many reasons why I don't eat pig. The reason at the top of my list is that it is not God's will. If it's not God's will, I'm not going to do it. The other thing is, genetically, pigs are quite similar to humans. And I went through how similar they are in a different video. I mean, pig hearts are sometimes transplanted into humans. They are that similar. So I think when people ask me why I don't eat pig, I give the following reason. According to Islam, we are not allowed to eat carnivores, omnivores, birds of prey, or humans. Those are the rules that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set, and I follow His rules because I understand He's my creator. He has infinite wisdom and knowledge, and until I learn the reasons for His rules, I'm going to accept His rules. Pigs are omnivores, and as I said, they are very similar to humans. Some people have eaten human flesh and believed that humans tasted like pork. So to me, they're too close to us for us to eat them. I do not want to develop a taste for pork or human flesh. Now, I have got a little screenshot of an article in the Huffington Post about how some people believe that pork tastes like, or humans taste like pork, while other people believe that it tastes like veal. I'm not interested in finding out. As I said, I accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ruling for me. Now, some Westerners show repulsion for the Chinese because they eat dogs. And, you know, when they're being really judgmental about the Chinese eating dogs, I sense superiority from the Westerners. And, you know, they're just slating the Chinese, how, you know, despicable it is to be eating dogs. Now, in terms of pig, they know that the Old Testament forbids the eating of pig meat. And so I think perhaps such people want us to join them in eating pig so that they don't feel that we might consider ourselves superior to them, which is really not the case. We actually just feel a repulsion of eating something that we've been taught not to eat. And they feel that same repulsion about eating dogs. Now, the picture on the right is one of the Kaaba, and it's been doctored by what I consider a Gog and Magog anti-Christian satanic Khanzir, who is associating Muslims with what they themselves are consuming and perhaps what they themselves look like. You are what you eat, after all. And that is all I wish to say about that image. Now, white non-Muslims always ask me, or now and again ask me, about why I don't drink alcohol. Now, the reason why I don't drink alcohol or take drugs is because I have no interest in polluting or harming my body and mind. Now, I do know there's young boys and young girls or young men who, you know, they have the title of being Muslim, they have an Islamic name, but they drink alcohol, and that is their choice. Okay, why am I going to choose to become lost when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided me to the straight path? He's guided me to purity. And what I believe is that when you have disbelief, Allah allows you to eat pollution and poor standard of food. In fact, the devil encourages you to do that. But when you have belief and true guidance from Allah, He wants you to have the high quality foods and drinks. and so he preserves your thinking. So I've taken an image from a health website that outlines, I think it was 24 to 28 ways in which alcohol harms humans. And now, apparently it shrinks the brain, it kills brain cells, and to me, my intelligence, my brain is really important, and I pray that Allah, protects my intelligence even on through my old age, and if I die, I don't die with some sort of mental disability. But so as you can see from here, there are all sorts of ways in which alcohol harms the human, and I'll allow you to investigate that yourselves if you so want to. There's a YouTuber called Inessa, and she uploaded this video in which a gentleman called Viktor Efimov lectured about how foreign gutter elite are trying to attack Russia in a more subtle way. Now, apparently this gentleman has died now, but I'm just going to read out the interpretation she gave for what he was saying at this point in the video. So, at a fifth economic priority level of genetic warfare, the results are much better. What is genetic warfare? It is alcohol, tobacco, and narcotics. So basically, he's saying that there's a type of warfare that is going on, and it involves the use of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. And these things destroy a people. They destroyed the Native Americans, and these were used against the Chinese by the British. And when the ruler of China at that time tried to ban these and protect his people, then the British were in outrage about it because it was upsetting their war technique of how they were going to destroy people of China. And it is important that we warn each other about these hidden gutter elite anti-Christian Satanists who are driven by Satan to maintain their own wealth and power and oppress others using these vices. Now, in this clip, Viktor talks about how the Russians are under attack from birth, and they are under attack via the films that they watch, adverts, TV, newspapers and radios. And it isn't just the people of Russia that are under attack. The people of the entire world are under attack from these people who create the films and the adverts and the TV shows and write in the newspapers and present the radio shows. These people are attacking all of us, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, but some ignorant non-Muslims who think they are on the right guidance are actually lost and trying to encourage others to live disgusting, worthless lives, polluting themselves. Now, I have never met this man, Victor. I only recently came across his videos, but I concluded the same thing that this gentleman concluded, and this same thing other people have concluded, other people that I have never met. Now, this is a communication of truth. When the mainstream media is showing you one thing, but something within you tells you something else, this is the truth passing into an individual via Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, via the one God, the creator of the universe, the creator of heaven and earth, and it passes into you against all the odds, against all the mainstream media lies. And you recognize this truth. You recognize this truth, and you recognize the truth, when other people are talking to you about it. And you recognize those, each other. You recognize those who are being guided by God. And you recognize those that are completely lost. And I just did a search on YouTube for drunken behaviour, and I'm sure I didn't search drunken women, but a whole series of videos came up with drunken women. I really can't see what is so attractive about being drunk. I find it ugly. I find it humiliates women. Now, I'm not suggesting that those who want to drink stop drinking. It is entirely your choice. I only suggest you do what you think is right, and I will do what I think is right. And those who try to differentiate between the non-whites and the whites, I want to remind you, if you accept this, that your skin color is a garment, and it will be removed from you on the day of judgment. On the day of judgment, you will be a point of light, and your brightness will be determined by your good deeds. And if you have taken part in oppression, then you will be surrounded by darkness on the day of judgment. And darkness on the day of judgment will cause you to fall into the fire of hell. I would like to emphasize that when the truth comes to people and you realize the lies of the mainstream media and what they are promoting, then you need to accept that this is a communication of truth into an individual from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'd like to read from chapter 17, verses 81 to 85 from the Quran. And say, truth has come and falsehood nullified. Verily, falsehood is perishable. What we have sent down of the Quran is a healing and a grace for the faithful, and adds only loss for the sinners. When we are gracious to man, he turns away and moves aside, yet when evil befalls him, he begins to despair. Say, each one acts according to his disposition, but your Lord knows well who follow the right path. They ask you about revelation. Say, revelation is by the command of your Lord, and that you have been given but little knowledge. May Allah guide you, protect you, and give you peace. May Allah guide the Satanists and the devil to the straight path. May the ultimate success be that all creation unite for truth and justice. I pray that Allah guides us all, grants us all forgiveness. I pray that Allah makes the children be a source of peace for the parents, and the parents be a source of peace for the children. And may Allah make me a source of peace for all, and may I achieve martyrdom by defending the vulnerable. Allahu Akbar and Allah Hafiz.